Have you ever felt like you spent the entire weekend scrubbing, cleaning, and arranging everything until it was spotless only for Tuesday to arrive and the chaos to return? That helpless feeling seeps into your chest like a sigh, all your effort dissolving into thin air, the home slipping out of your hands. You walk through a room that was pristine just yesterday, now suddenly crowded with dishes, papers, clothes, things you meant to set down for a moment, that somehow became set down forever. A weary cycle. Clean, then clutter, then clean again. Strangely enough, the harder you try, the more exhausted you become, because you are battling against your home instead of living with it. Less, yet enough. Slower, yet deeper. Order outside, quiet inside. The truth is, the root does not lie in one fierce day of deep cleaning, but in the small habits repeated every day. The Japanese do not see cleaning as a chore. They see it as a ritual of arranging the inner self. To clean the house is to clean the heart. Seri, to separate what is needed from what is excess. Seitan, to give each thing its appointed place. Seiso, to let surfaces shine so the mind can shine with them. Danshari reminds us to release what no longer serves life. Ma opens spaces where breath can rest. Kaizen plants very small but steady steps. Wabi-sabi invites us to accept the marks of time and treat ourselves with gentleness. Fewer possessions, more peace. Fewer decisions, more freedom, space to breathe, and the heart breathes too. In today's video, we will walk together through 10 habits, simple yet profound, not temporary tricks, but a new way of thinking, so you can stop fighting and begin dwelling peacefully in your own home. Each habit is a single grain of sand. Together they gather into a shore of calm. Let us begin right now. Habit 1. Clean items first, then clean the room. The very first habit sounds simple, yet it is the key that unlocks order from chaos. Tidy up the items first, clean the room after. Many of us walk into a space and immediately rush into wiping, vacuuming, spraying air freshener only to stumble moments later into piles of clothes on chairs, papers on the desk, toys on the floor. We polish the surface while the foreign objects remain in place, blocking the flow like stones in a stream. We tidy a little, then get stuck. Wipe a little, then abandon it halfway. The feeling is never complete, only exhausting. The Japanese approach it with a very different order. Handle the objects first, then the surfaces. Seri, remove the excess. Seitan, return each item to its place. Only then comes Seiso, cleaning. Order is not just technique, it is a rhythm of living. When everything has gone back to its home, a surface becomes a surface again, not a temporary landing pad for unfinished decisions. A place for everything, and everything in its place. A phrase short and sharp, like a cut that frees us from the habit of multitasking that leaves the mind tangled. Fewer switches, less waste, less breathless rushing, more ease. Try feeling this process in a space you know well. Before reaching for the mop, simply stand still and observe. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the sofa. The remote control left adrift, a blanket half folded, cushions out of line. Do not scold yourself for clutter. Simply call each thing back home. The remote returns to its drawer, the blanket is folded, the cushions back to their corner. Step lightly to the coffee table. A used cup goes to the sink, old magazines into recycling, the notebook onto its shelf. With each item put back, one suspended decision disappears from the mind. Light, very light. At the shoe rack by the door, the daily pair kept below, the seldom worn pair placed higher. Flyers sorted into a separate tray, trash divided clearly into wet and dry. When the circle is complete, the room feels empty in the most positive sense. Not barren, but breathing. The necessary pause appears, and the mind comes to rest. Why does this order free us so deeply? Because in the brain, every item out of place is an invisible reminder, a browser tab always open. When we try to clean while clutter lingers, we are forced into constant task switching, from wiping to picking up, from picking up to sorting, from sorting back to wiping. Switching drains energy. When we tidy up first, we close those tabs, restoring a clear, flat surface for the mind to clean. Then, cleaning itself becomes a brief, seamless, even meditative ritual. The hand wipes, the mind settles, fewer moves, more presence. And then, the quiet magic of Kaizen's small but steady steps begins. You do not need an hours-long deep clean. You only need moments of clearing before cleaning. 5 minutes to return things after dinner, 3 minutes to reset your desk before bed, a single minute by the door to hang your jacket and place the keys in their tray. Short, repeated touches stitch the home together like tiny threads weaving a warm quilt. No rushing, no forcing, just steadiness. Prepare meeting points for your belongings so this habit slides smoothly into place. A tray for keys and wallet, a basket for mail awaiting action, a closed box for spare batteries and cables, a fabric bin for light jackets. Once the place is set, decisions become automatic. Where the place calls its name, the hand finds its way. You no longer have to remember, you simply do. And with each act, a soft click sounds inside. Order has returned. Finally, once everything rests where it belongs, then clean. Only clean. Each stroke of the mop glides across a clear surface like a boat over a still lake. Faster, brighter, more satisfying. To tidy the home is to tidy the self, a phrase that may sound like a cliché, but you will feel its truth in the very moment the mop pauses and the room exhales. Order outside, quiet within, and tomorrow, it will only take a few minutes to keep the rhythm, because the foundation is already there. This habit is as light as a morning greeting, yet as enduring as a promise to yourself. Follow the right order, and peace will find you. Habit 2. Categorize by groups. The second habit is to shift the axis of tidying from space to category. It sounds like a small pivot, but it completely redraws the map in your mind. When we tidy by room, we think we are in control. But in truth, we are only pushing clutter in circles. A shirt ends up in the office, a book drifts to the nightstand, a bill hides under the kitchen counter. The surface looks cleaner for a moment, but the decision has only been delayed. Stop, gather, look directly. This is the moment to call everything of the same kind into one place, like summoning a scattered army back to its base. Tidy by category, not by room. A very short phrase, but a true compass. When every piece of clothing in the house is finally laid out on one surface, the view is like turning on a bright light in the mind. We no longer measure with patchy memory, but with the truth laid before our eyes. 5 black t-shirts nearly identical, 3 pairs of blue jeans almost the same shade, a few jackets that recall an older version of ourselves. That moment may feel overwhelming, yet it is the very medicine that awakens. See abundance to see clearly to choose less. Less, yet enough. Then do the same with books. Gather the unread, the ones finished long ago but still kept just in case. With papers, contracts, warranties, scattered receipts. With kimono, the miscellaneous items that hide in every corner. Chargers, batteries, stray lids, cosmetics, souvenirs. When the family of a category gathers together, the hesitation fades, replaced by a simple clarity. The power of this method lies in reducing the number of types of decisions we face at one time. Confronting clothes, we answer only one question. Do I truly like and need this item? No longer pulled toward cleaning a window, rearranging a bookshelf, or searching for a vacuum outlet. The mind does not leap between multiple stages. One stage, one play, one core question. This is Satan in the spirit of 5S. Outer order to quiet inner noise. And as your hand touches each item, let the body give an honest signal, tokimeku, the gentle vibration of joy. Not impulsive excitement, but the soft nod of intuition. This belongs with me, now. If there is no spark, do not force. Offer thanks. Let go. Danshari teaches us. Refuse what is not needed. Discard what is not used. Step away from what no longer belongs. You may spend an entire weekend only on clothing, another day just for books, a quiet evening for papers. Do not rush to compress a lifetime into one day. Kaizen's small, steady steps will guard you from exhaustion. Before beginning, choose a central stage for sorting. Place every item of that category upon it, even those hiding in suitcases, drawers, or the trunk of the car. Hold each piece. Inhale, ask, answer with gentle honesty. If the item carries memories, allow the memory to be voiced, a story, a thank you, and then a farewell. The memory remains, the object can go. Wabi-sabi reminds us that accepting the scratches of time is also a way of loving life. Once you have chosen, arrange the items you keep into meaningful groups for the present. Work clothes for weekdays, home clothes for weekends, exercise gear for mornings. Each group becomes a commitment to live with who you are now, not with some vague someday. The rest, let go. Sell, donate, recycle. Each time an item leaves your hand, you return to your home a measure of the open space where breath can rest. Space to breathe. The heart breathes too. And you learn more about yourself through what remains. The palette of colors, the textures, the habits, the rhythm of your life. Grouping does not just make the house clearer, it makes you clearer. In time, you will sense a very light shift. Fewer wandering items, fewer suspended decisions, fewer repeated purchases. The surfaces of your home grow still, like a lake with fewer ripples. A small maxim rings like a bell. One place, one group, one breath. Tidying by category is not a trick, but a daily practice of clarity. When you gather enough to see, you will be calm enough to choose. And when you are calm enough to choose, peace arrives on its own. Habit 3. Eliminate unnecessary items. The third habit is the courage to let go the very soul of Japanese decluttering. Danshari is not simply about throwing things away, it is a way of living. Refusing what is not needed, stepping away from what no longer belongs, and keeping only what makes the heart quietly tremble with joy. When we open a closet and feel heavy, when we open a drawer and sigh, it is not merely a question of space, it is trapped energy. A shirt kept just in case, a gift held onto so the giver will not feel hurt, a device saved for someday. Each one gradually turns the home into a warehouse of the past. We pay rent with the peace of the present, and it is exhausting, deeply exhausting. The Japanese remind us gently, your living space is for the person you are now. Waste does not lie in giving away, but in letting an item sit untouched, gathering dust, occupying a seat it no longer deserves. Change the question. Do not ask, should I throw this away? That is the question of loss. Ask instead, do I still want this item to walk with me? Change the question, and the heart changes. The focus shifts from regret to choice, from fear to agency. Marie Kondo speaks of tokimeku, the spark of joy. When you hold something in your hands, the body knows before the mind speaks. If the heart opens, keep it. If the spirit sinks, let it go. Simple, gentle, honest. The obstacles often come from three shadows: the lure of someday, the guilt of waste, and the grip of an old self. Someday is a vague promise that prolongs the present state. Give it an expiration date. If you have not touched it for a year, chances are you will not in the next. Guilt of waste is the voice of Matanai, the sense of not squandering that is worthy of respect, but let it become flow. Donate, pass on, recycle. When the item is used by someone who needs it, guilt transforms into gratitude. The old self is subtler, a dress that holds on to the image of who you once were, a pair of shoes that clings to a dream you never stepped into. Let the memory remain as a story, without forcing it to live inside a physical form. Take a photo, write a thank you, then set the item free. Memory does not need a drawer. It is within you. Begin like this without rushing, without straining. Choose a small category you are ready to face, perhaps scarves, mugs, or old notebooks. Gather them all onto a clear, bright surface. Stand tall, inhale deeply. Hold one item at a time. Listen to your body. Does it still bring joy? Does it still serve the life I live now? If yes, place it on the left as an invitation to stay. If no, place it on the right as a farewell. No judgment, no debate, only acknowledgement. When finished, the items that remain will be placed back with seitan. The items that leave will be placed neatly in bags. Given, sold, or recycled, a new flow begins. Kaizen reminds us to walk with small, steady steps. Today, one small bag, tomorrow, another. Light, but enduring. You will encounter the hard ones. Gifts from loved ones, objects tied to memories, expensive items that no longer suit you. With gifts, remember, The purpose of a gift is to deliver love. Once the love is received, the object has completed its duty. Thank it, then let it become a gift to someone else. With memories, let them be spoken an afternoon, a journey, a smile, then preserve them in words or photos, not in a silent object. With costly items, speak honestly. The money spent was tuition for a past version of you. The lesson is learned. There is no need to keep paying with space and mental weight. Let go to remain. A short phrase, yet it opens the empty space where breath can rest. And then one morning, you will notice the living room surfaces suddenly calm. Open the kitchen cabinet and everything can breathe. The mind grows quieter, fewer decisions, more freedom. You no longer buy a sixth black t-shirt because you already saw yourself clearly in the last round of sorting. Fewer things, but deeper meaning. Wabi Sabi whispers, accept the marks of time and accept that you have changed. Mono no aware knocks softly. Everything passes, and therein lies beauty. You smile. To tidy the home is to tidy life. To let go is to live lightly. Less, yet enough. Empty, yet full. And peace begins with the smallest gesture, placing something down. Habit 4. Place items in fixed positions. The fourth habit is to give every item a home, and then always return it to its doorway after each outing. Teichi. Fixed positioning. How many minutes of your life have you spent rummaging through jacket, pockets, drawers, or under the sofa just for a tiny key? Clutter is often not a sign of laziness, but of homeless objects. Without an address, they land temporarily on every surface, and each surface turns into a landing pad. One day, 2 days, and it becomes habit. The house grows noisy with half decisions. Where should this go? Let me just leave it here. I will put it away later. Later is the slippery slide that leads directly into chaos. The Japanese cut that slide with a rule that is both gentle and sharp. One place for each item, one item for each place. Short, clear, effective. Picture a tiny routine as you step through the door. Your hand touches the knob, and the key immediately hangs on the hook by the entrance. The bag lowers onto the stand beside it. Mail drops neatly into the tray labeled to process after dinner. The phone goes back to its fixed charging station, the cable never wandering in search of an outlet. The television remote rests in its tray on the table, not migrating onto the arm of the chair. Each gesture becomes a move in kata, a graceful choreography of order. Repeat it for a few days, and the brain memorizes the pathways of objects just as it memorizes the way home. You no longer think, where should I put this? Because the question has already been answered by design. Decision turns into reflex. Reflex frees energy. Once the place is fixed, the mind has less to carry. And when the mind carries less, the heart tires less. Of course, this habit demands consistency, because the enemy of order is always convenience. You pass by the dining table and drop the keys down just for a moment. That moment is the tiny crack in discipline. Set yourself a light but firm promise. Take 3 extra steps to return the item home. 3 steps of peace. 3 steps that save 7 minutes of searching tomorrow. Once positioning is strong, you can extend it further into quantity, only as many hooks as the keys you truly use. Only 1 tray wide enough for a remote and 2 spare batteries. Only a charging station that fits the devices you need each night. Tight space creates subtle friction. When the number exceeds the limit, you bump into the boundary, and that boundary whispers it is time to review. Order is no longer a slogan, it becomes a rail. The benefit is not only a neater home, it is a quiet form of peace. You know what you need and where it is. Mornings do not begin with a hunt for the car keys. Evenings do not end with a scattered gathering. You save hundreds of tiny decisions. Decisions that once drained the focus meant for what truly matters. To put something in its place is to put peace back in place. A phrase that seems simple, but you feel it in your body when your hand reaches for keys without looking, when your phone charges in the same spot each night, when your eyes meet an open surface and the mind cools instantly. If you forget, do not scold yourself. Take a breath, pick it up, and return it. Each return is a small stitch that strengthens the fabric of discipline. Shitsuke sustaining order does not come from bursts of effort, but from steady folds of the everyday. A few weeks pass, and suddenly the house is quieter, the mind less tangled, the rhythm smoother. Objects return home, and the heart returns to itself. One place, one gesture, one breath. Habit 5. The 15-minute daily rule. The fifth habit is to bring tidying back to human scale. 15 minutes, every day, steady as a breath. The idea of saving it all for the weekend deep clean sounds reasonable, but it unintentionally turns cleaning into a mountain in the mind. The more you look, the more discouraged you feel. The more discouraged, the more you delay. The Japanese take another path. Instead of rare major surgery, they practice frequent microsurgery. Small but steady, light but firm. When a small action is repeated long enough, the house transforms and the heart calms. Why is 15 minutes so effective? Because it is short enough not to threaten, but long enough to build momentum. When you know it only takes 15 minutes, the brain stops constructing exhausting scenarios. The door begins to open, and once the door opens, Kaizen's small, steady steps will carry you forward. Accumulation is a quiet miracle. 15 minutes a day adds up to nearly 2 hours of maintenance each week. Not dramatic, but persistent enough to stop chaos at the root. Prevention is better than cure. An old saying, but never outdated in a busy home. The secret lies in consistency. Choose an anchor moment in the day. After your morning coffee, before washing your face at night, or as soon as you return home. Set a 15-minute timer. Begin when it begins. Stop when it stops. Stop while you still want more, so tomorrow you return with eagerness. Shitsuke discipline does not come from bursts of energy, but from showing up on time. Once the timing is fixed, Saiketsu standardization forms quietly. The body remembers, the hand reaches, the feet step. You can rotate by space to reduce hesitation before each session. Early in the week, the kitchen where quick meals often spark disorder. The next day, the living room tables, shelves, the temporary spots. Then the bathroom sink, mirror, small shelves. A day for the entryway and desk, 2 hotspots for wandering items. Another day for quick sweeps of hallways that carry many footsteps. The cycle closes, then opens again. Each day, a thin slice. A thin slice, but steady. Endurance wins by rhythm. In those 15 minutes, do not seek perfection, seek flow. A 3-beat rhythm can help keep the pace light. The first beat to return items home, carry a small basket around, gather the homeless objects, and drop them at their address. The second beat to clean quickly a cloth across the surfaces, a handful of dry trash. The third beat to close, straighten the cushions, realign the chairs, put the spray and cloth back in place, ready for tomorrow. 3 beats, 1 breath. No rushing, no scattering. As the hands repeat, the mind naturally settles, and the necessary pause appears on the table, by the doorway, in the chest. If one day you slip, do not scold yourself. Inhale deeply, return the next. A strong habit is not a perfect habit, but a habit that knows how to return. And if 15 minutes still feels too much on a busy day, divide it. 7.5 before leaving home, 7.5 before bed. Half is still a step forward. Life has its rhythm. You only need to keep the red and green lights steady inside. The benefit is not only clearer surfaces, it is the feeling of holding peace in your hands, waking up to a kitchen already open, coming home to an entryway free of footprints, sitting at a desk with space enough for ideas to land. Fewer small decisions, more energy for the bigger ones. You realize your home does not need a total makeover in one day. It only needs you to visit every day for 15 minutes. A greeting, a small promise, a quiet victory. To tidy the home is to tidy the self. Each 15 minutes, a stitch that keeps the fabric of life from fraying. Stop on time, return on time. Less, yet enough. And peace, little by little, will stay. Habit 6. Arrange vertically. The 6th habit is to shift our perspective from the flat to the upright, from laying things down to letting them stand. Each time you open a drawer of clothes stacked on top of each other, you are almost forced to dig, pulling one up from below, pushing another aside, and order unravels like a loose thread. The Japanese offer a gentler answer. Think vertically. Let each item stand, like books with dignity on a shelf. When things stand, order stands. When order stands, the mind straightens its back. Stand things up to see clearly. See clearly to choose wisely. The power of vertical organization lies both in physics and in psychology. Physics gives you more space. One cross-section can hold more when things stand side by side rather than weighing down on each other. Psychology gives you control. When you open a drawer and see the spines of every shirt, the brain no longer relies on hazy memory. You have a catalog revealed right in front of you. No rummaging. No breaking the order you just created. One pull light, direct, clean, one layer, one touch. This small maxim erases countless little frictions we often ignore. A few seconds of searching, a few short breaths of irritation, a few muttered complaints, less friction, more peace. Marie Kondo's folding technique is a subtle illustration. Fold a shirt into a small rectangle, thick enough to stand on its own, flat edges, tight corners, not stiff but steady. This gesture is not a show of fuss, it is kata, the choreography of the hands, rhythmic, repeated, calm. When each book of clothing stands beside the next, you suddenly feel the breathing space between objects, a pause for the eyes, for the heart. Each shirt is no longer crushed, no longer creased by the weight of being forgotten at the bottom. Respect begins with letting an item stand tall, touched by light, easy to call by name. Respect objects, and they will respect your time. Do not stop at clothing. Vertical thinking can flow throughout the house. In the kitchen, baking sheets, cutting boards, and pot lids stop collapsing on one another when placed in upright dividers. Each waits for a gentle touch. On the spice shelf, jars rise on small tiered steps, labels facing forward, one glance enough. In the workspace, files, notebooks, and folders slip into upright trays. Even tablets, laptop covers, and sketchboards can rest vertically in divided slots. In the bathroom, slim organizers let toothbrushes, razors, and bottles stand no more forest, sprawling across wet surfaces. At the entryway, letters and bills stand in a vertical mail sorter, layered into Handle Today and Review This Weekend. Kimono, the small miscellany, also behaves better when placed in its own standing files. Batteries, cables, memory cards, tiny tools. When objects stand, decisions also stand direct, not meandering. How to begin smoothly? Choose one pilot drawer you touch every day, often loungewear or workout clothes. Take everything out, fold each piece into the self-standing form, and return them as a single layer, spines facing up. Between groups, leave a small gap, a breath for your eyes to divide the space. Make a light commitment to yourself, one layer only, no stacking. If something cannot stand, perhaps it is too thin or too bulky. Add a fold, or assign it another home. Kaizen's small and steady steps will guide you until everything clicks into place like water flowing back into its riverbed. Each night, spend 15 seconds straightening the spines in the drawer. Each morning, tidiness greets you before you even say good morning. The surprise is this: when you live vertically, mornings become lighter. You open the drawer, see enough, choose quickly, close it. No more lifting a whole pile, no more reconstructing after a gust of disorder. See all to need less, a small phrase, but a hinge for many quiet minutes that follow. And then you notice the deeper benefit. When surfaces are less chaotic, the mind grows quieter. When each item has the chance to be seen, you buy less, because you already see what you have. Wabi Sabi reminds you to cherish the simple fold, the softened edges of fabric with time. Saiton reminds you one place for each thing in its place, and you whisper to yourself, stand objects tall, and you stand tall within. A small change, a great effect. And peace, once again, comes from the way we touch the most ordinary things. Habit 7. Follow the cleaning plan. The 7th habit is to place a map in your hand before placing a cloth in your hand. Follow a planned order. Have you ever begun cleaning with all your energy, only to find yourself 15 minutes later standing in the middle of the room, belongings scattered everywhere, not knowing where to continue? It is not that you lack determination, you only lack a path. In the Japanese spirit, order is born from sequence. Junban, the right order, is the bridge that carries us from chaos to calm. The Japanese turn cleaning into kata, a choreographed sequence with a clear route. The first axis is from top to bottom. Dust always falls. If you start with the floor and then raise your hand to wipe the top of the cabinet, all your effort ends up back on the ground. So let your hands follow gravity, the highest places first, the middle shelves after, surfaces at eye level next, and the floor last. Move with the fall of dust, short but deep enough that you do not redo the same work. The second axis is from inside to outside. Begin in the room farthest from the door, then move toward the exit, so dirt travels in one direction and never returns to trouble the places already clean. The path to the door is the escape route for chaos. One direction, less circling, less fatigue. Within each room there is a smaller order, like a breath. First, return things to their homes, Sari and Seitan, to clear the surfaces. Next, touch the high places, cabinet tops, shelf edges, ceiling fans so dust can fall into the zone you will handle. Then the working surfaces, tables, handles, switches, the points of contact that need to be clean for the mind to be light. Finally, the floor, one sweep, one mop, closing the circle. Once the order is clear, the body remembers. The hand moves once, in the right place, at the right time. One path, fewer detours. Picture a journey flowing through your home. Begin with the bedroom, the deepest place, so you wake tomorrow in air that feels ordered. Pass through the workspace, free the desk, so ideas have a place to land. Glide into the living room, fewer stray objects make conversations calmer. Then the kitchen, the heart of the home, where cleanliness is an invitation to cook. Finally, touch the bathroom and close the circle at the entryway, the point that greets and sends you each day. One direction, no turning back. When footsteps fall into rhythm, each door closing becomes a period at the end of a sentence. Clear, light, complete. Writing the route is not about complication. It is about freeing memory. A small note taped inside a cabinet, a reminder in your phone, a simple phrase enough to guide, top to bottom, inside to outside, objects first, surfaces next, floor last. With a map, the brain no longer wastes energy deciding what is next, and your energy is spent doing, not thinking about doing. Saiketsu standardization slides in quietly, turning a chain of actions into a rail. Shitsuke discipline keeps the train on schedule. If there is a difficult room, give it a fixed spot on the route instead of avoiding it. When its day comes, you arrive, finish, and move on. No negotiation, no delay. A plan is also a form of kindness toward yourself. It gives you a finish line to honor your effort. When you finish wiping the high shelves, do not rush down to the floor. Allow yourself to see one layer completed. See completion to nourish continuation. Each finished stage is an exhale that relaxes the shoulders. And if a day is too busy, you can still keep the structure by narrowing the scope rather than breaking the order. Do only the first 2 rooms along the axis, leave the rest for tomorrow. Gentle discipline. Enduring. And one day you notice you no longer lose your way midway. The body remembers the path, the mind grows quieter, the house is cleaned in flow, dust falls down, you walk out, and everything returns to its place. Fewer circles back, more steps forward, less hesitation, more decisive moves. Cleaning becomes a ritual with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Order is the compass of peace. When you trust that compass, the home is no longer a battlefield. It returns to being a refuge. And each week, you only need to walk one familiar route, steady, light, enough to find peace waiting at the end of the hallway. Habit 8. Use supporting tools. The 8th habit is to let objects support you and to let the wisdom of your hands move before the fatigue of your head. Japanese neatness is not only about owning less, but about the art of framing what remains with the right tools in the right place for the right role. They do not try to impose order on an endless open space. They break space into small compartments that speak. A drawer left empty looks spacious, but within a week it becomes an ocean. Add dividers, trays, inserts, and suddenly the waters turn into calm channels. Each current flows to its purpose. Less drifting, less loss. Think of a bento box, the same container, but its many compartments give every dish a place, no dish pressing down on another. Drawers follow the same principle. When everything stands upright within narrow slots, cables no longer tangle, paper clips no longer slide into dark corners, lipsticks no longer roll away. Physical boundaries create gentle discipline, no shouting, only soft fences for each thing. You open the drawer and see the spine of every item. The hand reaches, the eyes rest, the heart lightens. The Japanese are also subtle in cherishing what already exists. Matanai do not waste is not about keeping everything, but about giving it a new life. A shoebox lined with craft paper becomes a proper home for a power bank, a mouse, memory cards. A toilet paper roll becomes a holder for coiled cables, standing in neat rows like pens. A cardboard box, cut and taped, turns into a vertical file holder for the desk. An empty glass jar, washed clean, becomes a spice jar with its label facing front, while a small step shelf in the kitchen gives each jar its stage. Wabi-sabi smiles. An old object is treated anew, time is honored, and the house breathes evenly. Less buying, more creating, light and sustainable. Do not hesitate either to invest with intention in tools that make tidying flow like a graceful kata. A mop with a swiveling head glides along walls and under the bed without breaking your back. A brush with a curved neck slips behind the faucet. A small broom head fits into window tracks. A squeegee clears water after each shower so glass does not mark. A few microfiber cloths gather dry dust from surfaces, then wash, dry, and return to their own compartment. The right tool, fewer moves. Each tool is a quiet promise to save minutes, save wasted gestures, save weary sighs. The key is pairing tools with the hotspots of the home, just as a habit pairs with a fixed hook. Is the entryway always messy? A narrow tray for new mail, a small basket for masks, a mini spray bottle of alcohol beneath the key hook. Is the desk cluttered? A tiered tray for clips, USB drives and markers, cables into tube holders, tablet upright in a stand beside a notebook. Is the kitchen chaotic after dinner? Drawer dividers whisper here for forks and knives, vertical racks stand thudding boards and baking trays. There, transparent boxes keep dry goods. Over here. Each hotspot becomes a cluster of solutions. Small but skillful, very skillful. To let this slide in smoothly, use Kaizen to refine day by day. Today, only arrange one drawer. Tomorrow, line a container with old fabric so it stands firmer. The next day, add slim labels, 1 word, 2 words for the eyes to read quicker than the hands. When one compartment runs smoothly, replicate the principle in another. Monozukuri craftsmanship with heart does not demand perfection. It asks for attention, repetition, and a quiet pride when the drawer opens and everything stands aligned. Most importantly, tools are only means to protect the rhythm of life. If a box makes you bend too low, turn its orientation. If a divider makes the hand stumble, remove one slot. Order must serve the ease of the body, not force the body to serve a rigid map. When tools and repurposed objects fit with daily habits, the home begins to function like a healthy body. Blood flows in the right veins, breath flows in the right rhythm. You open a cabinet, take exactly what you need, close it in a second, you wipe once, and the surface shines like a quiet smile. To arrange objects is to arrange the flow. And within that flow, you are no longer swimming against the current. You move with it. You dwell in it. Habit 9. Maintain awareness of respecting living space. The 9th habit is not a new action, but a new way of seeing, holding cleanliness, and respecting your living space as if you were respecting your very breath. When you see tidying as a chore, the weight begins at the thought itself. When you see it as an act of care, everything feels lighter. The Japanese call this tene, a gentle attentiveness in every small act. Wiping a table is not only to remove dust, it is a way of saying thank you to the surface that has held your meals, your work, your conversations. Sweeping the floor is not only to push away fragments, it is the ritual of hooray, cleansing the heavy so the heart has a place to rest. Change the attitude, and the same gesture will sound with a different tone. Softer, deeper, warmer. Begin with a quiet question. Whom am I caring for when I tidy my home? It is not only the 4 walls. It is the body that needs a clean place to recover. It is the mind that needs a quiet corner to focus. It is the people you love who need a harbor free of clutter to return to. In the spirit of harmony, living space is a relationship between people and things, between people and one another. When you respect the space, you respect those who live within it. 1 extra minute folding the blanket neatly is 1 less anxious breath at night. One extra wipe of the sink is one less frown from the person who comes after. Discipline here is not harsh. It is as gentle as courtesy. Respect create peace. To nurture that awareness, do not push yourself with harsh slogans. Change the words you say to yourself. Instead of, I have to clean, try, I want to care for the home a little, just one word and the muscles stop tightening. Then choose one small gesture as your daily anchor. Wipe the table after meals, sweep water from the glass after showering, fold the towel before hanging it back, place your shoes side by side before stepping inside. These gestures are like laying flat stones on water light even, but enough to create ripples that spread. Shitsuke discipline grows out of such mindful rhythms. Quiet, unpretentious, steady. You can lean on wabi-sabi to soften the pressure, accept a scratch on a doorknob, a mark of time on a cutting board. Cleanliness does not mean sterile, glossy, flawless. Clean is pure enough for body and mind to relax. When perfection is no longer an obsession, it is easier to keep rhythm. And open the door for Mott and I to walk alongside, honor resources by using fully, using carefully, using again. When you wash a glass slowly instead of tossing it away, you protect both your wallet and the earth. Less waste, more gratitude. Gratitude makes the hands gentler. A quiet secret is to stay for 10 more seconds after each task. After washing your hands, sweep once across the sink. After making tea, dry the counter. Before leaving your desk, return the pen to its tray, close the notebook. 10 seconds hardly matters to the clock, but it matters to the rhythm of life. It prevents chaos from sprouting. It teaches the muscles to close the circle before moving on. And once the habit roots deeply, you find your home always just tidy enough, rarely falling into the state of needing rescue. Practice gratitude in tangible form. Thank the bedroom for giving you seamless sleep so you smooth the sheets before leaving. Thank the desk for holding your ideas so you return to it an open surface. Thank the entryway for welcoming you through storms so you wipe your footsteps before stepping further in. When gratitude takes shape, actions take meaning. When actions carry meaning, awareness grows on its own. Finally, choose for yourself a standard that is light but clear. Leave the space a little better than when I arrived. Just a little, but repeated many times. Personal standards are not mountains to climb, but small paths to walk each day. And then, one afternoon, you notice your home has a quiet breath, steady, warm, clean, and so do you. Clean outside, bright within, less yet enough. Respect the space, and the space will hold you gently. Habit 10. Turn cleaning into a daily habit. The 10th habit is to change the place of tidying in your life. From an occasional event into a small, steady breath that happens every day. When we push everything to the weekend, the truth is that all week long we live in a space that is not fully comfortable. Life feels heavier, and cleaning turns into a mountain waiting to be climbed. The Japanese take the opposite path, micro-cleaning, right when it happens. Do not wait for buildup. Do not let the seed of chaos take root. A splash of water spills, wipe it now. Cooking is done, return the kitchen to smoothness. Clothes come off, into the basket. A book is finished, back to the shelf. Gestures that take only seconds, yet stop an entire river of disorder from flooding in. The secret lies in shifting identity. Do not tell yourself, I have to clean, whisper instead, I am the one who leaves a space a little better than when I arrived. When we change the story we tell ourselves, the right action appears faster than thought. The 1-minute rule is a very close bridge. If something takes under a minute, do it now. Hang the jacket instead of dropping it on the chair. Dry the counter instead of promising later. Place the shoes on the rack instead of leaving them on the floor. 1 minute means little to the clock, but much to order. Each do it now is a brick paving the path, a flat path, a smooth step. In the spirit of 5S, this is the final S Shitsuke, discipline that protects what has been built from slipping away. Sari helped us let go, Saiton placed each item home, Saiso cleaned, Saiketsu standardized the process, and now Shitsuke pours daily drops of water so the tree of order does not wither. Kaizen reminds us to walk with small, steady steps. A morning reset of the kitchen counter before leaving, a midday return of tools to their tray after work, an evening close of the entryway before lights go out. No bursts, only return. steady hands. You will notice the broken window effect at work quietly. One item left out invites a second, then a third. But the law also works in reverse. One tidy surface invites the ones beside it to follow. Begin the chain reaction with micro anchors. After a meal, a cloth placed within reach, a single wipe across the table. After a shower, a squeegee by the glass, one stroke erases the marks. Before leaving the desk, 10 seconds to cap the pen, align the notebook, power down, small rhythms, very small. But repeated steadily, they rewrite the character of the home, order that feels natural. At first, there will be days you forget. Do not scold yourself. Breathe, return. A strong habit is not one that never breaks, but one that knows how to come back. If a day feels too heavy, narrow the scope. Just leave the sink clear and the counter dry. Just keep the entryway free of wandering shoes. These minimums are the rails that keep the train from derailing. Tomorrow, you expand again. Gentle discipline, no harshness, no endless debate. A small trick to anchor habits is to pair them with existing activities. After morning coffee, straighten the kitchen counter. Before brushing your teeth at night, return items in the living room. The moment you step inside the door, 3 automatic gestures. Hang the keys, drop the mail into the tray, align the shoes. When habits stand close together, they lift each other. Great willpower is not needed, only the right position. And then you realize something simple but precious. Keeping the home neat does not take as much time as you once thought. Because you are no longer rescuing after the storm, you are shielding with everyday gestures. The space is always just in time to be calm. So is the mind. Wabi Sabi smiles at the honest marks of use, while Ma, the open space, finds a place to stay. Less, yet enough. Light, yet lasting. When tidying becomes a daily habit, the home is no longer a project to be finished. It becomes a companion walking beside you, every day, steady and warm. And so we have completed a gentle circle. 10 small habits, 1 great transformation. The secret of a tidy, peaceful home is not found in magic, but in simple gestures repeated over and over, returning items to their home, standing them upright to be seen, following a planned sequence, and giving 15 minutes each day as a breath for your living space. When you stir life lightly with Kaizen, order does not arrive in a rush. It seeps in, bit by bit, very gently, and then one day, you notice flat surfaces, a clear entryway, and a mind that is quieter too. To tidy the home is to tidy the self. Less, yet enough. See your home as a companion. It shields you from storms, holds your sleep, keeps the quiet hours of work. Wiping a table is a way of saying thank you. Folding a shirt is resetting the rhythm of breath. Accepting the scratches of wabi-sabi makes you kinder to reality, while keeping the flow clean with small, timely gestures. When you shift your view from I have to clean to I want to care, every movement carries music, and every corner carries warmth. Right now, choose one first step. Set a 15-minute timer for tonight, reset a drawer upright, or return 5 items to their place. One small rhythm opens a large doorway. And then tomorrow, repeat. Light, but steady. Which of these 10 habits makes you want to begin today? The 15-minute rule, the art of vertical organization, or a place for everything? Share your choice in the comments so we can keep the rhythm together. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe so you will not miss the next stories on minimalism and daily peace. Thank you for joining, and may you dwell in a home that is tidy, warm, and deeply your own.